This is a generational heist for the Boston Celtics as a shocking new report has dropped surrounding the Celtics and Damian Lillard. We're going to break down this exact report and discuss what it means going forward as it changes everything for the outlook of this Boston Celtics offseason going forward. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage or aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. You guys have been absolute beasts with the support lately. We are on the road to the big goal of 10,000 subscribers. So if you haven't hit that button yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you again for your continued support over here. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot to go over today. And of course, the Celtics have made some moves so far in this offseason, this free agency period, and more moves are certainly to come for this Boston Celtics team in multiple different ways. But following what was a crazy day yesterday, crazy past couple days in general, and of course the biggest headliner of all this is Damian Lillard being waived. He is now officially will be a free agent and available to sign with any team. And a brand new report has dropped revealing that the Celtics are among the few teams that are showing interest at this point in signing Damian Lillard, and they want to sign him, quote, sooner rather than later, per The Athletic. So this kind of came out of nowhere, and of course, we haven't been talking about Damian Lillard here on the channel because this wasn't an option up until randomly the Bucks decided to waive and stretch his contract so they could sign Miles Turner to the deal that they gave him, and of course, all the dominoes fell there with the Milwaukee Bucks, and whether that's a good deal or not for the Bucks is a conversation for another day, but for the Celtics, this opens up a very interesting opportunity to really make a move here, and they could grab, again, if anyone who's signing Damian Lillard, we assume it would be for very, very cheap, so the Celtics would be able to do that, and we'll dive into that here in a minute. But the Celtics showing interest is very intriguing because as of this point, there's been a few teams named as showing interest, and the Lakers are one of them, the Celtics are one of them. There's a few different teams involved in the what will end up being the Damian Lillard sweepstakes here. But he is coming off of, again, he tore his Achilles, I believe it was, and he's going to be missing most of, if not all of next year, which actually lines up perfectly with the Boston Celtics time frame and their plans going forward, because you look at the team that they've had now, and they haven't really done much this offseason to prepare themselves to win next year, which makes sense with Tatum out with the torn Achilles. But report, the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Warriors are among teams interested in Damian Lillard. And Damian Lillard is drawing significant interest with the Milwaukee Bucks. And the three other teams at this point, according to The Athletic, that have already made contact, or at least are going to make contact, are the Lakers, the Boston Celtics, and the Golden State Warriors. You can see this here. Lillard could sign with the team and rehab his torn Achilles. And we assume he's going to sit out the entirety of next year and then reevaluate his future going forward. And we know that Milwaukee decided to waive and stretch his contract. But apparently, Damian Lillard was, quote, elated because it allows him to join a contender without putting significant weight on the financial element of his decision, because he's going to be still making his $22 million a year. And people are talking about him as like a washed asset. He still averaged 25 and 7 last season in 58 games and was an all-star. So it is very intriguing here now. And you look at his stats, you look at how good he could fit with this team. If you picture in 2 years' time, I guess season after next year, front court and back court, you have Damian Lillard, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum. That's a very good, although not the best defensively, lineup they could run. And it does make quite a lot of sense here for this Boston Celtics team, especially given the fact that there's really no risk here because you don't have to pay him very much. An article dropped basically, evaluating the pros and cons of it. You can see this here. For starters, the Celtics could actually make his financials work, since Lillard will be earning $22.5 million per year from the Bucks and won't likely demand a hefty contract while he works back from his injury. Assuming they get under the second apron of the luxury tax, which they're currently over by less than $1 million, which they'll figure out, the Celtics could give Lillard the veteran minimum in 2025-2026, which is about $3.6 million, and then re-sign him under the non-taxpayer MLE, which is roughly $5.9 million in 2026-2027. And under that scenario, you could basically really lock in for the season after next year, because Tatum's going to be out next year as well. And in 2026-2027, Boston can roll out a lineup featuring a tantalizing core four of Lillard, White, who's also under contract, assuming they keep him, Jaylen Brown, and Jayson Tatum, with the flexibility to add supporting pieces and make another series championship run. And just like that, again, I don't know if that would be enough to win a championship. Like on paper, yes, but Damian Lillard is getting older and things like that. But just like that, the Celtics are now in a point where, for a team that was really struggling getting out of the second apron, getting now out of the first apron, under the luxury tax, all these different things, they have transformed their team in a either positive or negative light, depending on which way you view it. Jrue Holiday gone, Kristaps Porziņģis gone, all because of of course, the tax, the new CBA, but also because of the fact that Damian Lillard, or Jayson Tatum rather, went down with an Achilles injury and kind of put next season as a wash here. You now have an opportunity, though, to get somebody for super cheap who has tremendous upside, like one of the best point guards of all time. And it's very interesting, and that's the case for signing Lillard. But let's also dive into some of the negatives as well. Now, he was very good last year for the Bucks. Again, I'm on the fence, by the way, or I'm on the side of the fence of signing Damian Lillard. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially for a Celtics team that has been dealing with some financial burdens as of late. Getting a guy like Lillard for so cheap, like, you're not going to get a better player than that at that contract. However, it would give them, you can see in the third paragraph, acquiring Lillard would also give Boston essentially a 1-year title window with Lillard, White, Brown, and the Tatum quartet, as Lillard will demand a much richer contract in the future. Do the Celtics want to put all their eggs in the basket or maintain flexibility and continue to get younger? The former path is high risk but high reward, which is why the later path seems more likely for Brad Stevens. Now, I don't know how much risk you're actually putting in. Like, yeah, you put your eggs in a basket, but it's just one player, right? And it's only $5.6 million if you go into the MLE. Of course, it's the $3.6 million if it's the veteran minimum. They have a ton of options here to actually, figure this out. And I don't think that getting Damian Lillard is going to be some all-in move that would hurt them going forward. It's not like you're signing him to a big deal or trading for him like the Bucks did. And you look at his stats, he was solid since joining Milwaukee. And of course, he was coming off of a season where he averaged 32 points a game when the Bucks traded for him. The Bucks never got that kind of production. It was always going to be hard to get that kind of production with, of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo on your side. But last season, 58 games, 25 points a game. The year before, 73 games, 24 points a game. And of course, he went down with injury in the playoffs in both of those years, or I guess last year especially, but also he was out for the majority of the playoffs in 2023. And for the Bucks, they didn't really get anything out of the trade they gave up. But he has been an all-star. I mean, he is a multi-time all-star. And we're talking like almost 10-time all-star for one of the best point guards we've ever seen, at least in our generation. And now you have an opportunity to get him, who is a veteran, could fit alongside Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derrick White perfectly for a year, and just set you up for, you sign him, and then next year you don't have to worry about, if he comes back early, sure, that's good news. But the Celtics are then in a bit of a rebuild period for a year, so essentially a retool. Because next year, the lineup shaping out to be Derrick White, Anthony Simons, Jaylen Brown, Gorgas Niang, and Luka Garza, which isn't good, right? You have Sam Hauser, who might get traded, Neemias Queta, like things like that. I still think Sam Hauser is probably going to get moved, or Anthony Simons to, of course, try to get under the luxury tax, get out of the first apron. But like, regardless of that, Lillard just makes all the sense in the world to me. And let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. Kind of came out of nowhere here. The Celtics are among teams interested, and I think that at the end of the day, it would make a lot of sense for some for the Celtics rather to really get in on him, along with, of course, you wouldn't really have to outbid. It's just a matter of who Dame wants to go to, whether that be the Celtics, the Lakers, or some other teams. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. And also, before we wrap up here, I just want to throw this out here. This is an interesting article that dropped on Celtics Hall of Famer Kevin Garnett questions Boston's offseason moves. That's why you guys leave in the comments based on the moves they've made so far, what grade you would give them. Of course, Luka Garza and the trades for Gorgas Niang, including Jrue Holiday trade and Kristaps Porziņģis. He said, I don't know if I would have given up Jrue Holiday for scoring. And of course, I mean, I don't know how in tune Garnett is here. They didn't give him up for the scoring and Anthony Simons. They gave him up because of the financials and things like that. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what, if Kevin Garnett is aware of the situation the Celtics were in financials-wise. But just let me know down below what your thoughts are on this quote. Bit of I think, an uninformed quote. But also what your thoughts are on the overall season for the Celtics. You guys are beasts. Thanks for watching. See you later.